Good morning, Nigeria. I like to say that TVC has a finger on the pulse and an eye on the streets, even on public holidays. And today is no different. Here in the Trending Now segment, we do our best to bring you trending stories that are shaping the world that you and I live in. We begin today with this, where the Dangote Industries Limited has moved to clear the air after reports linked one of its trucks to Wednesday's fatal accident in Enugu State. Now, the crash, which occurred around 9 a.m. at Four Corner, involved a cement-laden Howo truck and a Toyota Corolla. And tragically, the accident wiped out an entire family traveling in the car and caused a lot of anger and grief online. Now, the truck was bearing the inscription of Visco Investment Global Limited, and it was traveling from Aba to Abuja when this accident occurred. Reports online had suggested that the truck belonged to the Dangote Group due to its brand signature, a claim that the company has now dismissed. Dangote Group said that while it usually avoids commenting on these single incidents, it had to step in this time to correct the misinformation spreading online. The company has also pledged to tighten brand protection measures and emphasized its commitment to safety, corporate responsibility, and integrity. But will this be enough for the online mob and the amount of blood that has been spilled? Now, it's great to see that Dangote Group is taking some corporate responsibility, coming out and putting out this sort of letter and statement. But on the other hand, we're seeing the power of public perception. People are able to, because it's happened so many times, people are able to say, this is a Dangote truck, even when it wasn't. Your reputation is key. Let's take a look at social media. DJ Man says, cut your supplies to the southwest for now. There is a deliberate plot to sabotage your company by attacking, killing, and burning your trucks around that axis. Do not put the lives of your drivers at risk for profit. This is my tiny advice. Tiny advice taken. Amakanwa Deke says, Visco truck with Dangote logo on it. You guys are very heartless. So instead of taking responsibility and looking for ways to remedy the situation, you're here issuing a disclaimer. I'm shaking my head. Moving on in better news, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu says that the Lagos Rail Mass Transit Blue Line has carried more than 5 million passengers in just 2 years of its operations. Now, in a post on his official X handle, the governor noted that the service has run without a single accident since launch, a record he described as proof that Lagos's growing transport safety culture is doing well. Now, to mark the 2-year mark anniversary, Sanwo-Olu also announced a 50% slash in fares yesterday, and he also celebrated with passengers on board, surprising commuters at Marina and Mile 2 stations with handshakes, selfies, and a lot of laughs. Take a look at the governor.
Taking us all the way to Mile 2, right? Thank you. 4:30 train. Abi? 4:30. You use the train every day, Abi? Ah, hey. I think you guys are enjoying. Let me also come and...
I'm so shy.
Enjoy your trip back home. Thank you.
Now, if you didn't know, the Blue Line Rail is Nigeria's first electric-powered light rail, and it began its operations in September 2023, running a whopping 27 kilometers from Marina to Mile 2, with an extension now being planned to Okoko-Maiko. Now, when it's completed, it will serve over 500,000 passengers daily. This was a solution to a Nigerian problem. It's not just transportation, it's relief. Lagos is a city that is plagued daily by gridlock. For every passenger on that train, it's one less person in the inner cities causing gridlock, stopping us from going freely in the inner city. Let's take a look at social media. I love to see a problem solved. This is a tweet by the governor himself. He says, Dear Lagosians, 2 years ago, we took a bold step with the launch of the Lagos Rail Mass Transit Blue Line. Today, as I look back on how far we've come, I feel a deep sense of pride and gratitude. In these 2 years, the Blue Line has carried more than 5 million passengers safely without a single accident. And trains now run every 10 minutes, making over 90 trips each day. These achievements show that when we work with dedication and purpose, we can build systems that truly serve the people. Wonderful job, sir. This is great to see. And David Ava Logan says, congratulations, my governor. More of this. Also for observation, the red line for Moyingbo should be linked to the National Theatre as it was planned in order for the ridership to increase significantly and help the populace in navigating with ease. This is Lagos. I love that you're hustling for more, for it to come directly to your doorstep, David. But team was saying this is wonderful news. I want to focus on this Dangote story and the power of reputation here and the power of optics. you know, unfortunately, this truck that had the accident in Enugu State was not linked to the Dangote group, but so many people believed it, and it spread like wildfire, causing more condemnation. What are they to do? What does the brand do in this case?
They say perception is stronger than reality. You know, and the Dangote issues with trucks and all that has created a perception about trucks having accidents being linked to that company. It's a public relations nightmare for Dangote Industries, and I hope that he has a strong team that can work tirelessly to change the narrative. What I would do, first things first, I'll get all my drivers screened. I will get them screened, and then there will be a speed limit, and there will be serious consequences for accidents as far as the truck has the Dangote name on it. We should know that not every truck that has Dangote name on it belongs directly to Dangote Industries. There are people that are running their trucks using the Dangote name, and that is not impacting well on the company. The company has a lot to do, and thanks to Sanwo-Olu, it's good the way you are mixing with Lagosians and the way you're taking selfie and saying hey with them. Thanks.
Okay, so for me, I'm just going to speak about, you know, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. That's the one, that's the topic that, you know, interests me. I just love how he's a talk and do governor. You know, he doesn't just talk, you get to see it. If I do say so myself, you may argue with me, but I think he's one of, you know, the best performing governors in Nigeria, because we see the reforms that he does. And now look at this beautiful rail line. Like, look at how he helps the Nigerians that want to go from one place to another. And he did not just do this, he also slashed the price. One thing I love about him as well is the way he's able to relate with community. Like, look at how excited the girl was when she said, we saw him, it's him. It's just beautiful, and all I can say is that he needs to keep up the good work, because we see it and we definitely love it. And Olamide, I'm going on this ride, I'm doing my photo shoots there.
Yeah,
we have to go on the ride, actually. Congratulations, Governor, this is beautiful.
Absolutely, especially when they started bringing in the trains, and then you saw the fake news on social media across some other media platforms saying that they were used coaches, you know, now bought by by Lagos State, and then they're now putting it on our road. But we can see how beautiful these quote-unquote used coaches are and how performing they've been. And then because the governor has done so well, he felt very confident to walk in the midst of people. In fact, to the chagrin of these people, they never expected it because he didn't tell them he was coming. Even the staff were not expecting his presence. And then he was moving freely. This is what we want in Lagos State. This is what we want in Nigeria. When you do right, you feel very comfortable to walk among the people. But there is so much that we demand that Governor Sanwo-Olu does, you know, especially the fixed transportation, you fix virtually everything, but there are still some ugly rules that are causing problems, you know, not on the train track, but, you know, on our roads. And the train tracks need to be safeguarded from all these, you know, babambola and all of that, so that they don't start, you know, destroying it. Dangote, I feel, as Thomas said, you should own the narrative, champion the cause of safety, safe driving. Speed limit is very, very key. Work with the FRC and all other road marshals to ensure that our roads are safe. Screen your drivers to make sure that you do not have criminals and even, you know, drug addicts riding, you know, behind the wheels. Because it's very, very important that we take care of our roads and our trucks and the lives of people.
Indeed. Mr. Governor, thank you very much for what you've been doing thus far. Well done. Surprising passengers like that is what we'd like to see much more. Go to the markets, go to the streets, surprise Lagosians, let them just see you, and not just you apparently now, but other governors, other, you know, senators, and maybe even the president. Surprise, just go somewhere, surprise the people, because sometimes that kind of demonstration is what the people really need more, you know, than some of the policies that we don't even get to see the evidence really on ground. And so well done, sir. For a state like Lagos with its vast revenue, we, Oliver Twistley, expect more, sir, you know, to be done so that Lagos can truly, completely fit into that cosmopolitan city like LA, you know.
It's already LA.
We're getting there, actually.
Well, we're getting there, but we're not really there yet. But, you know, a lot of things can be done. But, sir, for what you've done thus far, we thank you and well done, sir. For Dangote, install cameras on all your trucks. I think it's time you need to do that, sir. Put cameras on all your trucks. For the trucks that are not directly belonging to you, sit down with those partners and affiliates. Let them also install cameras alongside training your drivers. And then there should be a rule on ground that says, if you do this, you would pay for that. Yeah. If you punish this kind of acts, maybe we'll begin to see less of such incidents, because lives being lost is not a child's play.
Thank you so much. And team, just to go back to Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu for a second, I want to see more governors commission their projects like this.
Yeah.
I don't want to see you cutting ribbon. Stand on the project, use it. There's no other word to describe this than doings. But moving on, the Bayelsa State Police Command says it has arrested the 3 girls that were caught in the viral video assaulting and humiliating a student of the Federal University, Otoke. Now, the assaulted woman, a young girl rather, identified as Nancy Wilfred, was reportedly beaten, stripped and filmed in Yenagoa after the suspects accused her of being involved with the boyfriend of one of them. Now, the disturbing footage showed the girl at the center of the incident, and she was being slapped, kicked, brutalized. Her hair was cut using a sharp object, and police have now confirmed that the suspects responsible for this are now in custody and will face charges including assault, attempted murder, abduction, cyberbullying, and grievous hurt. The Bayelsa Police Commissioner also says that a full criminal investigation is underway, stressing that justice will be served. A lot of gender groups and community organizations are, of course, now working with the young girl to ensure her recovery and legal protection. I was so ashamed to break this news. Young girls fighting over boys. We have so many much more problems as young women to contend with. We don't need to be our own worst enemies. Let's take a look at social media. Very disappointing. And I hope that you face the full wrath of the law, young ladies. Sammy says, women are their biggest enemies. If power is given to a woman, all the women in this world will suffer. I don't know about that. Today, Chinemeluma, I got that, says, no more good morals among our youth. At their age, what do they need a man for? Why you still have uni and career to build? Good question. Moving on, in international news, Conor McGregor, Ireland's most famous UFC star, has made it official. Get this, he's running for president of Ireland. Now, in a video shared outside government buildings in Dublin, McGregor reasserted his anti-immigration and populist stance, and he's promised to tackle Ireland's growing problem of child homelessness if he's elected. The announcement was paired with a direct call to action. He's urging his supporters to contact their local councillors and deputies to back his nomination. Let's take a look at this very short video.
Officials, but as your head of state, you empower me to enter these buildings on your behalf. A president face to face with government officials with only one priority: to ensure that the country our founding fathers gave their life for is strictly adhered to on behalf of its citizens. Ireland, under my tenure, the will of the people will be heard. Ireland, under my tenure.
Now, under Irish law, presidential candidates must be at least 35 years old and nominated by 20 parliament members or 4 local authorities to appear on the ballot. McGregor is 36 years old, and now he's got until September 24 to secure those endorsements before the election set for October 24. This is the second time he's running for political ambitions. The first came in March after he visited President Trump at the White House during St. Patrick's Day. Conor McGregor, this is not celebrity. Politics is a completely different fight. Let's see if you'll last in the ring. Let's take a look at social media. Richard Angwin says, stick to your whiskey empire, McGregor. Your presidency dreams are as delusional as your comeback fights, and Ireland needs a leader, not a loudmouth with more scandals than solutions. And the Crypto Insight UK says, a man from nothing to a multi-world champion in his craft, from zero to a billionaire. Conor is not perfect by any stretch. I'd argue that none of us are. Love him or hate him, he is a patriot and a self-made successful patriot, as judged by societal measures. That's more than you can say for most in any government. Team, very quickly, because I've got some juicy news for you when I come back. But what do you make of this? These young girls in Yenagoa beating each other, fighting, tearing, assaulting, cutting hair over a boy. How do we, this reorientation of our young women, I'm very, very worried. Ria, we have a lot of work to do.
A whole lot of work.
Ria and you have a lot of work to do.
I don't know about you guys.
To curtail that. Young girls fighting over a guy. That's an old thing. It's as old as creation itself. Men fight over women, women fight over men. We've seen that over and over again. But the one that really interests me is Conor McGregor, because I love MMA. The guy was a fantastic MMA fighter, you know, with a dangerous left hand. You know, he came in there and started winning and became very controversial, and at a point became very unruly. So I'm looking at that image. It's had quite a number of scandals too. I'm looking at that image and putting it side by side. The president of Scotland, that he is a patriot, that is not arguable at all, because he shows it at every given opportunity that he's proud to come from Scotland. Let's see how it goes. Like you said, popularity in MMA is so different from politics.
You can never tell Mr. Itoma, but he may win, he may not win. I wish him all the best. But talking about the girls, Olamide, we do have a lot to do in terms of, you know, speaking to these young people. And in my own way, I have been doing that with a lot of young people that look up to me. There are so many things you should fight for. Fight for your career, fight for education, fight to be bigger in life. No boy is what you're fighting for.
Yeah, talk about Conor McGregor. It's good that he's running for president. And then we've seen that, you know, play out in Ukraine. We have a former comedian who is not the president, but we see how he's now become a pawn in the hands of the West. You know, talking about the US, the UK that are sponsoring him with guns, even though Trump promised that there's going to be peace in the world, and we've seen the peace that he's promised in the world. You are saying that you want to run for president, and then the first thing first is anti-immigration law. Whatever it is, let everyone stay back in their country. Let's work together to build our country so that people like Conor McGregor will not take you to the ring and start boxing you because you've migrated to that country.
These three girls who were finally nabbed, boy, that's a good news for me. Because you cannot do that and go back to your house and sleep and have fun. Nala, you cannot have fun. So let them also go face the same food they served somebody else, fighting over a boy. You know, for me, it looks like a secondary school matter. I don't expect people in university who you've at least your head don't come out small for ground to go and be fighting for over a man. Same way also men for, you know, over a lady. I don't even know how people really get into this. But let justice be served. For McConnell, well, let's see what happens as the race begins, whether you will or not win. But well done, sir.
Thank you so much, team, for your input.